Eric Grant here. In this video, we're going to show you how to shorten a zipper and install stops. And we're going to be using a molded tooth zipper. This is a plastic molded tooth zipper in a number 10 size and a number 5 size. There are various stop techniques. We're going to show you, hopefully, almost all of them.
Separating zippers come in only a variety of lengths, so typically you order long and cut them.
This is a molded separating zipper, or what was called a finish zipper. And it's a number 10 size. You can see it has a starter box and it has posts that go into the starter box. So let's separate it first just to show you exactly how it works. A separating zipper, the two halves will come apart like a jacket, like this. At the top, there is a manufactured stop on both sides, and that's what it looks like. It looks pretty good. But typically you have to cut these shorter. So let's zip it up and let's pretend that we need to cut it here. So what I need to do is mark the zipper. I don't need to do that since this is a demonstration. And we're going to cut it with the teeth together with scissors. And I usually try not to use really good scissors because it can damage the scissors. Now let's take this off, and this is the part that we would throw away, or we'll use it to make a stop later on. We take the slider off, and now we separate the teeth just by doing this all the way down. Now the side that has the starter box, which is this one, the slider goes back on. And you can, if it has a puller on one side, you can actually flip it to the other side if you'd like, if you want the puller on the other side. For us, it doesn't matter. So we're going to put it on like this, and we're going to slide it all the way down to the box. Okay, so now that's ready. So let's take this portion and zip it back to it by putting the post in there and zipping it up. Okay. So let's leave the slider in place and let's put some stops on here. Now I like to use a hot knife and just touch the ends of my zipper flange, which keeps it from unraveling. Don't damage the teeth if you're going to put a slider back on again, so that keeps them from unraveling. So here are 3 choices for a stop. This is a stainless steel zipper top stop. This is a what's called a SnapCap, and it's really nice. I like this system. And this one is called a zipper top stop as well. It's just metal. Okay.
Our first example of a stop will be the stainless steel top stops.
We're going to start with this one. This can be put on with needle nose pliers, but I like to use this special tool here that Sayrite sells. We're going to put it in this tool, and it goes in just like that. And the nice thing is it's spring loaded, so it kind of stays in the right location. And then I like to go back 1 tooth. Sometimes people go back 2 teeth, but a 1 tooth will basically give me a nice, secure stop as it has a tooth to come up against. Then you just press. And that is installed beautifully on both sides, okay? And then you'd put a second one on this side, right there on this tooth or on that tooth. Okay, they're installed on both sides. The zipper slider comes up and comes up against them, and you've got a finished zipper again with stops on it.
Our next type of stop is called the SnapCap top stop.
Okay, let's install the next one. The next one is a snap-on, but let's first cut these off. Just cut it right there. And I would touch the ends with a hot knife again. This one is really pretty neat. It snaps on and it almost looks like a manufactured stop. So these snap stops are really cool. They have an opening that's kind of like a C, and the C would obviously go over the tooth, and you just snap it on top of the tooth. So I push, and it's not on all the way because I can see a little bit of the tooth sticking out. You push again. And I'll put one on this side. Just like in the same process. It's not on all the way until it's like that. And look at that. Looks just like a factory stop.
And now for the metal top stop. This one, you have to remove a tooth.
This is the top stop that are metal. Now I don't like these as well because you do have to remove a tooth. It's easier to remove the 3rd tooth than it is the 2nd because you have more of a grip, and I'm just going to use needle nose pliers, and you have to pull this off like that. See that tooth is removed? Sometimes there's residue on the back side, but you just take your fingernails and you just do that. Okay, so now what we do with this is you can install these with needle nose pliers, or you can use this tool that I love to use and put it in the gripper like so, like that. And then you just put it over that little bead and you press it down. And the only reason I really don't like them is because you have to remove a tooth. So you do that on the other side and that creates a stop as well. This is a number 5 molded tooth zipper, and these are top stops for them, which is much smaller. With these smaller ones, I like to put it on the ends of this tool, right on the end just like that, perfectly placed. And I've removed 2 teeth with this one because it doesn't fit between one very well. So you can see it, I removed 2 teeth just like we did before. And you position it over that little cording and you squeeze. And that stop is installed. And then if you'd like, you could always trim up the excess teeth like that and then melt the end, and you put one over here as well.
If you don't have a zipper stop, or if you prefer, you could make your own zipper stop using leftover teeth.
The next way is to create your own by cutting off 2 teeth from some scrap. You can do 3 if you want, but 2 is what I usually do. And then what I do with these is I sink them into the zipper. So right here at the end, I'll press until they're all the way down. Sometimes I use an object just to get it seated. So now it's seated perfectly in there. Then what you do is you take a hot knife, and you have to do this carefully because if you get the molded tooth hot, it'll stay hot for a few minutes, and you don't want to burn down your building by putting it in the trash or anything like that. Make sure it's cool before you do. I'm going to remove this foot. That way I can get better access to the blade. And then I just want to touch the teeth with a hot knife to the point where they become glossy. And they can catch fire, and if they do, just blow it out. See how it kind of burnt a little bit? Okay, that's one side. Now that's still very hot. And then we do the same thing over here. And this is almost like a factory stop, but it's not as pretty as some of those other techniques. Now don't let that touch anything for a while because it'll stay hot for a few minutes. And that's another way to create a stop, and you do the same thing over here using your old teeth.
And for our final demonstration, we'll just use binding. You could use webbing or fabric as well.
You can also create a stop by using binding. I think this is 1-inch binding or fabric, but this is the folded portion, and what I would do is I cut it to about 2 inches, and I just fold it over it, and then I sew this in when I sew the zipper in, and then I put one on this side as well. And that's a really nice stop as well.
I'm Eric Grant from Say Alright. We hope this video has been helpful. Thanks for watching.